But we have to start today with a team that was once upon a time at the top of the NFL mountain, is trying to get back there. That is the New England Patriots. And a very interesting column from a great writer out of the Boston Globe. No better time than right now, by the way, to subscribe to your local newspaper. Ben Volin of the Boston Globe, who says now is the time for the New England Patriots to make a play for Tua Tagovailoa. Now on the front end, let me say this. I think there's about 25 teams that if they could make a play for Tua, should. If you don't have Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, the handful of great quarterbacks in this league, then Tua would eventually be an upgrade. I think he is that type of future star. I think he's better than Joe Burrow, and that's nothing against Joe Burrow. I love Tua, so I understand the logic of the Patriots, a team with no quarterback at the moment, trying to make a play for the best quarterback in the draft class, like a lot of teams should be thinking about trying to do. But that is about where the story falls apart for me for a number of reasons. The first of which is, how do you do it? Carson Wentz, when the Eagles traded up for him, they had the 8th pick. They wanted to move up into the top 3. In order to do that, they had to give away the 8th, the 77th, the 100th, and a future 1, and a future 2. Think about what the Chicago Bears, when in Ryan Pace's infinite wisdom, decided we've got to get Mitch Trubisky. They wanted to move up 1 spot from 3 to 2. And what did they do? They had to give up the 3rd pick, obviously, plus 2 third-round picks and a 4th-round pick. So New England, a team that, remember, traded away their 2nd-round pick for Mohamed Sanu, that has 1 pick in the top 80. How would they create a package necessary for a team like Detroit, which is the team rumored that could be dealing with them in the Ben Volin piece, move up to number 3, get ahead of Miami, get ahead of the Chargers, and make this move? The 23rd pick, which is what they have then, their 3rd-round pick. You throw in some players. Do they have enough? Does Bill Belichick want to sacrifice multiple first-round picks to move up in the draft to try to get Tua Tagovailoa? It's hard to see how the Patriots have the ammunition to make this happen. But the viability of this, the plausibility of this, is not the most interesting part of it. The most interesting part of all the Patriots linked to quarterback X rumors are that we are finding out in real time, just like we found out a few weeks ago, that Bill Belichick himself agreed with my evaluation of Tom Brady last year, that the problem with the Patriots wasn't their offensive line or their receiving core or the lack of weapons Tom Brady had to deal with. The problem was you had a 42-year-old quarterback who, for the first time ever, looked like an old man. You had a quarterback who was an average to below average quarterback throughout the season. The team, the offense, was not able to make up enough for his weaknesses. Belichick clearly agreed with that by letting Tom Brady walk away with no heir apparent in place. But we are finding out now that the same exact people who polluted my Twitter mentions all year, the Patriot fans, Sully from Southie and the whole horde, deep down, they agreed with the evaluation too. Because if you hear any Patriot fans talk about what would happen if the Patriots got Cam Newton, what would happen if they could have just signed Teddy Bridgewater before the Carolina Panthers, what would happen if they traded for Tua Tagovailoa? If you listen to them tell it, New England Patriots back on the top of the NFL map, back in contention like they never left, which is awful odd because have you seen their other moves this offseason? That offense that I was told was holding Tom Brady back, you know how many starters are slated to return from last year? All of them, except for Brady. It's the same offensive line. It's the same receivers, N'Keal Harry and Mohamed Sanu, and of course, Julian Edelman. It's the same running backs, Sony Michel and James White. It's the same tight ends. The tight ends that were the subject of so much scorn, Ryan Izzo and Matt Lacoste. Everyone is the same. Bill Belichick decided this offseason, what do I need to upgrade? What on offense should I do? Did he go get Austin Hooper? He didn't. Did he go pay big money for a new left tackle? He didn't. Did he try to get in the wide receiver marketplace that, by the way, turns out you could have had DeAndre Hopkins for nothing? He didn't. What did he do? He signed a fullback, Joe Vitale. He signed Brian Hoyer, and the one other piece is Damiere Byrd. You remember him? Probably not. The fifth-string wide receiver for the Panthers for $1 million. So Bill Belichick looked at the Patriots, looked at what happened last season, and said, you know what? We switch out the quarterback, keep the offense in place. I think we can contend as well as we contended last year. And the evidence, by the way, is on his side. The evidence is in his corner. Last year, the Patriots, 12 times, held their opponents to 17 points or less. 12 times. Most of any team in football, by the way. 12-0 in those 12 games. In fact, 11 of those 12 games, they held their opponent to 14 points or less. 5 times all year, the defense said, guys, we can't win the game for you. 5 times all year, the opposing team scored more than 17 points. How many games did the offense win for him? How many games did Tom Brady and that offense say, we got it? The answer is 0. 0-5 when the defense allowed more than 17. 12-0 when the defense allowed 17 or less. Belichick knows that. Belichick saw it. Patriot fans, even if they didn't want to admit it, when their patron saint Tom Brady was still the quarterback, they knew what I was saying and others were saying was true. The weakness on the team last year, amazingly, was 12, because everyone else is coming back. And I think Tua's going to be a star, but he's not going to be a star as a rookie. I really like Cam Newton, but he hasn't played a healthy season in 2 full years. All those guys would be walking in, whomever they get, Stidham, Hoyer, Cam, Tua, whomever it is, would be walking in to the exact same offense that was not good enough for Brady. No major additions, no major enhancements, and that is something Bill Belichick seems to be totally okay signing up for. Where in the world is Jameis Winston going? And there have been rumors percolating. I actually think they were started by my good friend and college classmate and superstar radio host in Pittsburgh, Andrew Filipponi, that the Steelers could be interested in Jameis Winston. Makes sense. Jameis has a great arm, makes a lot of questionable decisions. Ben, great arm, a lot of questionable decisions. No one questions Jameis's talent. No one questions Big Ben's talent. People a little curious about Jameis's weight. People really curious about Ben's weight. Ben coming off the Tommy John, not a long history of quarterbacks successfully returning from that. Also, that draft class of Big Ben's, that great draft class, Eli out of football, Phillip Rivers appears on his way out. How much time does he have left? So Pittsburgh makes all the sense in the world. Go there, go to that great defense, Mike Tomlin, one of the best coaches in football, rebuild some value, and if Ben's not right, if Ben misses time, you have a competent, real-life starting NFL quarterback, not Mason Rudolph or the Duck. So I get why Pittsburgh makes sense. But there's another team that makes sense for Jameis, not only because he would be a great backup and could maybe learn from their new head coach, quarterback whisperer, but also because it would be a shot across the bow to the agent of their starting quarterback, who seems really dead set on his client becoming one of the 2 or 3 highest paid people in the history of the sport. And that place is the Dallas Cowboys. All the Dallas Cowboys have done is send love letters to Dak Prescott. Jerry and Stephen Jones, for 2 years, have been saying he's our franchise quarterback, saying how much they love him, how they know he's the face of the franchise and the future of the team. They've been doing all that despite the fact he's not under contract. And they thought they were going to get a deal done last September, and then they didn't. And then all year long, they didn't. And then this offseason, they offer him what? Reportedly $110 million guaranteed, around $33 million per year. And Dak Prescott coming off a season where the team's healthy, the team's no one in the division runs away with it, where they don't make the playoffs. Dak Prescott looks at that offer, and his agent looks at that offer and says, nah, man, if the number after the 3 and the 30-ish million is not greater than a 5, I'm not interested. If it doesn't have record-setting numbers, I'm not interested. And I do wonder what bringing in a former number 1 overall pick to back up Dak Prescott would do to those negotiations. Because right now, Dak Prescott seems to want a pay grade that is not commensurate with his production. So where does Dak Prescott actually fall in the quarterback hierarchy? I'm glad you asked. We've got the full quarterback pyramid, where Dak Prescott falls and why he is the trickiest. He is in the trickiest tier to pay.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.